This is the 11th game. They've gone through 10 full games getting into this with the 12 teams here this week. In video, thanks to Peter and Mark. Utilities, Matt, Nicholas, and Robert. Our technical directors, of course, Caitlin and Bob. Audio, Ryan, Ben, Jeff, Kevin, and Judy. The graphics that you see popping up, Brendan, Dawn, Christian, and Elena handling that. There's Lily Valamont's graphic saying that she's 3 for 9 here in the tournament. Foul ball there to Valamont. That score bug, so you know where we're at. Josh and Sam handled that. I mean, and Travis, Nick, Misha, Jack, and Abby on replay with some of the different looks that we've gotten all tournament. Boy, they've been busy.
On point.
Here's the 0-2. And strikes are out. Speaking of replays, let's roll one.
And this is the pitch that you have to pay attention to. It spins and on the corner, dropping a little bit off the side of the plate. You can see how it moves, the excitement that you see. Madison Fisher, an outstanding job and good movement.
Swinging at the first pitch is Ellie Sealer, and 2 up and 2 down. And now it's UCLA having the quick inning defensively.
Now batting for the Wolverines, third baseman number 7, Maddie Erickson.
First pitch swinging, Erickson taking it deep all the way to the warning track, making Caitlin Terry work for it. And another quick inning, a 1-2-3 inning. UCLA's got another chance at the plate. But today, and Valamont was trying to frame that up.
A good 1-2 pitch there. Maybe a little bit too close for me. I feel like you get a 0-2 count, maybe a little bit further off the plate.
She sits on it, times it perfectly, and Slip with a 2-out single.
Same with that on a 1-2 count, maybe too far over the plate to allow somebody like Riley Slimp, who's seen the ball well throughout this season. She delivers this one, just an outside pitch, turns on it well. Gets herself on base, but again, to me, too far over the plate on a 1-2 count.
This is good news for UCLA because the 1 or the 2 seed has won 21 of the 24 championships all time. And won the 8 previous titles. By the way, that's the first hit against Lauren Durkowski. She had retired the first 5 UCLA batters. And here is Kanaya Bragg. You would think, well, you know, the first 5 UCLA batters are dangerous, but it was Bragg and Mujica in the 7 and the 8 spot who hit home runs in yesterday's semifinal.
Bragg is 3 for 6 with a home run in this tournament. So when you say, you know, for me, I look and say, okay, well, she got through the heart of the lineup. She got past Polo, Woolery, and Grant, but let me tell you, when you're still working down this lineup and you got to deal with Bragg, you got to deal with Mujica, you still have some power you have to work through.
Oh, 1-2 the count. Outside to Bragg. Now Kanaya Bragg, Sophia Mujica, both freshmen. You go freshman, freshman, freshman with Slimp and Bragg and Mujica in this lineup. And you finish off with a sophomore Terry at the number 9 spot. Struck her out. Strikeout number 2 for Durkowski. Well, UCLA got its first hit against Lauren Durkowski, but Durkowski has the final say.
Yeah, this pitch up in the zone really got Bragg to swing through. She needs to throw more off.
I mean, they both were longtime assistants before now they decided to take over their alma mater, right? I mean, they believe in this program. You know, Bonnie Thole was the lead assistant for Hutch and was an all Big Ten player. The shortstop position, Kelly Inouye Perez. 19th year as a head coach, but 32nd overall at UCLA. They both have the buy-in. And both these programs have the consistency. And if you look at how many head coaches each program has had, it hasn't been a whole lot on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the loyalty runs deep, and to me, that's my favorite part about both of these teams is how they stay loyal. All of these coaches, assistant coaches, associate head coaches, could be head coaches in other places and be super successful in those other places, and yet they choose to stay as a staff.
It's Terry taking it into foul territory. I'll tell you what, those left fielders, both Sealer and Slimp have made some plays over there. And all the balls seem to be filtering out to left.
You can see where Sealer is. She's kind of hiding close to that foul line, knowing that to those lefty hitters, and Terry, those slappers, they kind of look to hit in that shallow outfield along the line. Like it's planned up.
I'd be remiss to not mention Sue Enquist, right? We talked to Carol Hutchins, who's here on site, but Sue Enquist, a legend in the softball world. And Kelly Inoue Perez spent 13 years with Enquist to become the third head coach in UCLA history. A high fly ball from Clements. And still no score between UCLA and Michigan. We will talk to the UCLA head coach after this.
I think, she's had some big moments this entire season, and, the biggest thing that we asked her to do was just trust herself, and she's doing an outstanding job pitching the championship game for the Big Ten today. But you know what? She's been in this situation before as far as just having high expectations. So that's all I asked her to do was just be herself, and that's good enough.
One of the points to your teams that they journaled about was that they have to take it. What does your team need to do in the back half of this game to be able to take the trophy?
We've got to let go of our last at bats and just get ready for the next one. I always say it's not what happened, but what you do next. So we're looking forward to some big things happening, some Bruin magic to happen. We've got to take it one pitch at a time.
Awesome. Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Addison Fisher is a freshman, and I mentioned she's from Bend, Oregon, a small city in Oregon, just over 100,000 population. Kelly Inoue Perez was talking about every coach would make their way to Bend, Oregon, to watch Addison play. Patty Gasso, the Oklahoma coach, was there almost as much as Inoue Perez, and they joked that we should just, when we get to the airport, we should just take the same rental car to the Diamond to watch her play.
Fish said Patty Gasso, Mike White with Texas in her. Could you imagine that, being a rental car driving on your way to Little Bend, Oregon to watch a pitcher?
Can you imagine Little Bend, Oregon looking out and seeing in the stands those three coaches all sitting together?
What a moment.
Tanisa Conway is your batter here from Michigan. And none of these offenses right now have figured out these two starting pitchers. Lauren Durkowski, Addison Fisher have each only given up a hit. It will be the first to get a run here today, as we're at the top of the fourth. The count.
This foul ball in on the hands. Look, bounces right in to the UCLA dugout. A good ducking and diving there.
And Conway, tough to strike her out, and Addison Fisher does exactly that. 5 strikeouts now for the freshman.
And Conway goes after a pitch that's up in the zone, and smart to me too, because you're looking for something that's higher up in the zone, but Fisher gets the good movement and gets the chase. You can start mixing up that drop ball you just saw there with that vertical drop, the movement on that. And then you, every once in a while, mix in a rise ball, something that jumps, even if it doesn't jump as well. A team looking to identify a pitch that maybe is a little bit higher in the zone, because that's the one that you can really connect with. You don't want to swing at the drop balls that start at the knees and drop further, then you're expanding the zone low. So you got Conway to swing at that.
Puts fouls it off her body. She's the only one that's gotten a hit off of Addison Fisher here today. Addison Fisher had really good numbers. We showed them to you at the beginning against Michigan in the 3-game series that UCLA swept the Wolverines in. And once again puts, oh wow, running it down, the center fielder Clemens chases it down on her horse for out number 2. And Fisher appreciates that effort.
Well, we saw a hit like this earlier in the tournament that was the same way, a center fielder running it down. Clemens with her speed. This looks like it's going to drop in the gap. Clemens just closes that gap.
Lauren Putz thought she might have had hit number 2, and you know, pitchers appreciate that kind of work behind them.
Well, I mean, I think as a pitcher, you see that, and you're thinking, okay, go back up third. I just gave up a hit in the gap, and then here comes your center fielder with blazing speed that just, it doesn't feel like there's any holes in your outfield. And when you have an opportunity to have a fast outfield like that, forget about it. The confidence it brings you.
Ella Stevenson fouls it off her leg. We told you the success of the 1 and the 2 seeds here in the Big Ten tournament. The 1 seed has won 12 times, the 2 seed 9 times. And actually, the 8 seed has won once. That came with Michigan State. The 8 seed in Indiana also got to the championship game last year as well. So, you know, if you're the 8 seed, there is a chance. Michigan State won it in 2004 as the 8 seed. Ella Stevenson is 0 for 1. She flew out in the first inning. Now, both of these pitchers have produced and induced quite a few fly ball outs here today, and hit by pitch, and Stevenson is aboard. Just the second base runner that Fisher has given up.
And that drop ball, when you're trying to get it down in the zone, just kind of spins off her hand. You can see it falls off those fingers behind her hip and goes too far on the inside, ricochets off that guard on the front foot, right into that back foot.
And the first free pass that either pitcher has given up. Both of them have thrown really clean softball games here so far. Valamont attacking the first pitch.
Kind of, to me, the feel of how this game is going to happen is you have to play clean defense, you have to be clean with your free passes in the circle as well.
Taylor Tinsley is getting some work in the bullpen. She picked up the quarterfinal win against Indiana. Her 9th complete game that she got in the quarters. That's the most on the team. And speaking of complete games, Jenny, just to show how balanced this pitching staff is for UCLA, in the 3-game set against Michigan, not one of them threw a complete game.
And they mixed it up well. And part of that is credit to Michigan for chasing some pitchers.
And Fisher takes care of that and fields her own position. The score is still 0-0 between UCLA and Michigan.
And or short outfield hits.
Good battle between Slip and Durkowski in this at-bat. This will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat coming up. Slip pops it up. It's a high one in the infield, and Maddie Erickson catches it, ends the inning. UCLA leaves 2 abandoned on the bases, still no score. With now you fast forward to 2025, and Michigan and UCLA are adding yet another chapter to their storied rivalry and meeting in the Big Ten tournament for the first time between these two schools. UCLA in the Big Ten Conference for year number 1. Kelly Inouye Perez talking to us about just all the challenges. You mentioned it at the beginning, Jenny, about being bulletproof this year. That's a big mantra for her and her team. Taking the hits, being able to handle the difficulties with the new schedule, new opponents, new travel, new weather that you have to deal with. Taking the hits, so then by the time you get to the conference tournament and then the NCAA tournament and what they hope to be another trip to the Women's College World Series, that those hits don't affect you anymore. Ellie Sealer skies one to right field. And another fly ball out.
We were talking with Coach Inouye Perez about that being bulletproof. You're talking about a program that has won championship after championship after championship. So the expectation to me is not always conference championships and stuff. It's about getting to Oklahoma City. It's about getting back to the World Series championship. And that is an expectation when you win as much as they do. And I think to me, again, Coach Stoll had mentioned for Michigan that UCLA is the standard. They are the standard of what it takes to win. And that is a tradition that they carry on.
I love the fact that she said, I coach in storytelling. And she said, I look forward to tell the stories of what this team accomplished to the incoming teams in the future of UCLA softball. It was interesting for me to see, you see the conference tournament history. They were runner-up in 2023, and then champions that we've documented in 2024. Ground ball from Erickson, backhander stab from Bragg, and the throw is there. Just textbook defense by the UCLA shortstop.
Kanaya Bragg, this backhand, she just picks it up easily on the knee, up and throws a bullet to get the out. The excitement from Addison Fisher, she knows she needs to use her defense, and she does. A lot of trust there.
Yeah, 2 outs now for Michigan. But it was fascinating that playing Michigan again brought her back to that regular season series. And she said, we didn't rebound from the emotion and the travel of that series. And she felt like it was one of the reasons why they were steps slow against Northwestern. Of course, they also added a midweek game after they came back from that Michigan series. But that series, remember, was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday game. They returned to Los Angeles, real early on Tuesday morning, had a game Wednesday, and then faced Northwestern that weekend. And she said, look, we can't make excuses. We have to be able to handle all those challenges that come with us. They had bad weather in Iowa. They didn't know how to play in cold and rainy and windy weather. And so she said, these are all the learning things in year number 1 of the Big Ten Conference we got to deal with. Ground ball right to the first baseman, Megan Grant, and 3 up and 3 down.
Huge. That should be an out call there. That's why Coach Stoll was a little bit heated there in that scenario.
Well, Terry's with the bunt single, advanced to second on the throwing error by Erickson, and Hatch advancing over to third base. And Michigan has committed a couple of errors here today. We'll see if this one is costly for them. Clemens pops it up. Erickson's all over it. Checks third base, and Hatch gets back safely. Now 2 outs.
This is a great pitch. A rise ball that comes up in the zone. Corners are ready for it. So Erickson, that bunt doesn't get down. Erickson ready to make the catch there. A huge second out there. You're about to face the heart of the lineup here. Savvy Pola.
Driven ball by Pola, but again to the right fielder, and Michigan fired up. That was as close as it got for the Bruins, plating a run, but still scoreless.